Kink. And Mary Santora is out in L.A. all this week. Poundcake is back behind the glass. Bill Squire is here. And you can listen to the Weekend Cox, by the way, on the iHeartRadio app. I mention the app all the time. Sunday mornings, believe it or not, if you're not up at 8 a.m., you can still listen to 2 hours of the best stuff from the prior week on the Weekend Cox podcast at AlanCoxShow.com, of course. You can get the latest Poundcake podcast, get the latest episode of the Bill Squire Show. And if you listen from out of state on the app, tell me where you do that. I'd like to know where people are. Make sure you are on our updated map of bureau chiefs. Adam listens in Michigan City, Indiana. Tanya is a new listener in Clayton, North Carolina. Kristen is in San Antonio. Brennan is in Nashville. Brian listens in Waynesboro, PA. Doug is one of our bureau chiefs, by the way, in Pontiac, Michigan. I was reading about a woman in Pontiac who found, just in the nick of time, an email saying that she won $3 million in the Michigan lottery in her spam folder. Now, that's not a euphemism. Had she not found this, she would have been out that money.
Everybody's checking their spam folders now.
Always check your spam folder.
How does that even happen?
She bought a Mega Millions ticket and matched 5 numbers to win $1 million and had the Mega Plier. So she gets $3 million. A woman named Laura Spears out there in Pontiac. And she said, I was on Facebook. I saw an ad that the Mega Millions was getting pretty high. See, sometimes Facebook can point people to something that doesn't involve, who knows? I know the lottery has its detractors, but if you got to rank them, not so bad. Anyway, she said she was looking for a missing email from someone else and checked her spam folder and saw the email from the Michigan Lottery saying that she had won $3 million.
Man,
So don't sleep on the spam folder. She says that she'll retire early and share her winnings with her family. The Powerball drawing for today, if you play the Powerball, and if you do, you already know this, it's up to $82 million. There's nothing you can tell regular lottery winners about the lottery that they don't already know, because they got an ear to the ground all the time.
I'm in my spam folder, and it's BS, man. Just a bunch of tongue emojis. This one is from anti-junk-mail-real. So that
sounds pretty legit. You need to open that one and click on whatever they send you, because that one is going to help you a lot.
I think it is. This is Hollywood email.
Just a bunch of emails from people going, by the way, I was in the green room. I'm still ignoring you. I'm just sending you an email to that effect.
To let you know that we don't like you.
Yeah.
We hate you.
There you go.
I said being around industry in here, this is how I related it to Dan, is kind of like dating a really hot person, where it's like it felt like they were constantly reassuring you that they have other options. Like, oh, it's cool that you're here, but like, have you heard of so-and-so? Because they're my client. I'm like, oh, okay.
Oh, I do
all those
with,
other people were basically treating you like you were waiting for your ranch to come out.
Right.
Yeah.
Is that not how you're supposed to date? You're not supposed to completely undermine their confidence and be like, I can get any girl I want.
You do realize this is a favor.
Right.
You
there you
that,
go.
Right?
Yep.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Yep. That's called negging, Bill.
Yes.
You don't want to be a...
Yes, that's why I'm negative a girlfriend.
I thought you had somebody in the pipeline. I thought you had somebody...
There's always something in the pipeline.
Well, Squifle Tower is a revolving door. I thought you had somebody in the door right now.
Yeah, it's been a couple weeks, but like we still talk.
We still talk?
That means no.
I thought you were like elbow deep in the jeans or something.
No, we had the dry hump night, but that was
dry hump night,
yeah.
right. No follow-up to dry hump night? She didn't make an appointment to get increasingly moist?
No.
No, well, that's a bummer.
No. I'm still hopeful.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Has she heard about your gravy booze?
She might be into the gravy booze.
Yep.
Maybe she can help me figure that out.
What I do is I get the ladies up here and they get them all hopped up on Squire schnapps. They don't know what hit them. Mm-hmm. So, anyway, keep an eye on the spam folders, as it were.
That's so crazy that it's sent to that, because usually if you get a lottery ticket, you don't sign up with your email or anything like that. So I'm wondering how they got a hold of her.
Well,
but
I
if
think
you use the apps.
Yeah, it's a lot more digital now, the lottery.
I have an app. I have the Ohio Lottery app. There's nothing that you sign up with to have like an account, as far as I know, unless I'm doing something wrong or different.
Check your spam folder. Clearly, Michigan Lottery is doing something differently. I've got sitting on the ledge. I got a couple of scratchers from Christmas that paid out.
You haven't scratched them?
No. I scratched them, and they're winning tickets. I just got to take them in.
How much are they
I
for?
actually have.
$9.
That's pretty good.
4 on one, 5 on the other.
That's a side salad in L.A.
Dude.
No, that's a ramekin ranch out there.
Man, I've only been out here 4 days, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Yeah, 5 days. And I have spent so much money. It's mostly Ubers and food, but it's like, I knew it was going to be expensive, but I did not think it was going to be this expensive. My breakfast the other day was like $27, and it was a breakfast sandwich and a side of fruit.
Is that a lot?
For a breakfast sandwich? Yes. It's a ham, egg, and cheese sandwich.
Yeah, but anywhere, my
$13.
experience has been anywhere you go from here, it's way more expensive.
Okay, but what are you charging me $13 for? That's what I'm saying.
Labor.
For a ham, egg.
Hey, you want that minimum wage to go up, don't you?
I mean, I guess.
And everybody's
sure.
rent out there is
That's what it is.
astronomical.
Yep.
Yeah, the cost of living out there is so high. That's why I don't
Paying it
understand.
forward, Mary.
Because, I mean, we both know plenty of comics that are out there, but they haven't made it, and I don't know how they live.
That's what I was literally just
They
talking
live
about
4 to an apartment. That's how they do it.
Yeah.
Or they've got to be coming from money, or they have to have somebody bankrolling what they're doing. Because I was talking to a comic last night who lives in a 2-bedroom apartment in West Hollywood, and their rent is $2,800 a month for a 2-bedroom apartment. And from what they described it was like the same size as mine, which is $750 a month. So it's literally 4 times what I'm paying, and they're not a super well-known comic. Like, they get paid spots around the city. I was like, how?
And they don't have day
making
gigs?
this work? They said that they didn't. I'm like, or are you lying? Are you like driving for Uber or doing DoorDash? Like, they have.
But
to have
even if you're
something
driving
else
for Uber,
going
like,
on.
that's a lot of money to, like, all
$3,000
your
a
money
month.
is going to rent.
That's insane, dude.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I lived there 30 years ago, and my rent was like $775 or something. And
Which was high back then.
It was high, I guess. I was like in a little closet across from a crack lot, but
Ooh, crack lots.
yeah, they got sued over the
Lots,
exclamation
yeah.
point. Yeah. I got $1,000 here for you to win. It's a chance for you to go fund yourself. So listen closely and good luck.
The Buzzard wants you to go fund yourself and score $1,000. Enter the nationwide keyword WORK at WMMS.com. That's WORK. Enter it now at WMMS.com. And good luck from Buzzard Radio.
If you follow Bryan Cranston on social media, he posted a great photo about a show I had forgotten about. Do you follow him on Instagram?
Yeah, but I never see any of his stuff.
He posted, I was saddened to hear the news today of Louis Anderson's passing. 26 years ago, I played his best friend in a series, and I'd forgotten about this. It was called The Louis Show. It was, I think, Fox in the early 90s, and it was only on, they canceled it after 6 episodes. It was not a hit, but it was Bryan Cranston. It was obviously Louis Anderson. It was Paul Feig when he was still an actor. Paul Feig, who's now like a big director of Bridesmaids and a whole bunch of other things, and he always wears a suit. Paul Feig was still an actor back then. Laura Innes, who you might not know the name, but you might recognize the face. She was on ER for a long time and a bunch of other things. And he, Bryan Cranston was basically just, he posted like a cast photo and said he was super, super nice and he was very funny on baskets and whatever. But I was like, wow, all these shows with people you know now, when they were just kind of trying to do things, and that was probably before he was Tim Whatley on Seinfeld.
Yeah, or right around the time. But I mean, even then, it's not like he was a reoccurring character on Seinfeld, but it wasn't a starring role.
Yeah, he wasn't a regular on there. Yeah, so a lot of people posting things about Meatloaf as well. I don't like the whole people are mocking him because of the COVID thing. I don't like any of that. I don't get a good feeling from that. Like, there's no, celebrity or not, the whole like making fun of someone because they were anti-vax and then they died, and it's just, that whole thing's gross. But there are a lot of people doing that. But I guess I didn't remember that Meatloaf changed his name to Michael because he hated Marvin. Because I saw Dave Mustaine from Megadeth. I guess he was friends of Meatloaf. And he tweeted out this thing and it said, R.I.P. to my friend Michael Lee. And I was like, I mean, Dave Mustaine doesn't drink anymore, so what is this? But Meatloaf's name was Marvin, and I guess he changed it a long time ago to Michael because he hated the name Marvin. Specifically, a long time ago, there was a Levi's commercial that was like, poor fat Marvin can't wear Levi's. And he's like, I was a big fat guy. And he goes, and my dad called me meat when I was a kid. And, so he goes, that was kind of the last straw. So he ended up changing his name to Michael Lee Aday instead of Marvin. But the anti-vaxxers grabbed him. They were playing his music. They had a big anti-vax protest in D.C.
Oh, yeah, so that...
And they were playing Meatloaf music, and, Yeah. I'll do anything for love, but I won't do that. So the anti-vax crowd has already co-opted Meatloaf. No one knows if he was vaccinated. He died from COVID, but they don't know if he was vaccinated. He was clearly not a guy in great shape. And he said, if I die, I die. I also don't understand the logic, and good luck looking for logic in this kind of stuff, but I still understand the logic in using a guy who died from COVID as your patron saint for not getting vaccinated. Like, if he didn't, he was like, you know what I mean? Like, they're playing Meatloaf music out there. It's an anti-vax protest. I'm like, I don't understand using the guy who died.
It's about the choice. They don't want to be forced to get vaccinated. They don't want to be sheeple.
I understand.
They want to make their own decisions. Their body, their choice.
Yeah. Well, that's what they say. I was watching some of the live coverage of it. Some places were covering it. And you go, okay, well, if it's a whole group of people who are like, we don't like these mandates, we don't like blah, 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 you go, okay, I guess you could make a logical argument for that. But it's never what it is. It always ends up being up somebody there talking about the Holocaust or tyranny, or it's never anybody who's like, hey, look at this information I have. This is something that should get closer scrutiny. It's never that.
I said my brother the one day I woke up to legitimately 56 text messages about how America was becoming Germany in the 40s because of vaccine mandates.
Well, and that's gross too, because that's why there's so many references to the Holocaust and these kinds of things, because basically telling people this, like radicalizing right-wingers, telling people that they're victims of oppression like the Jews were, that basically like justifies violence is what they're trying to do. Do you want to end up like them? So it's like you tell people that this is in fact a form of self-defense when any logical person would understand it as a minor convenience for the greater good, but it's somehow been transformed into this intolerable action on your liberty, and it's the symbol has grown way more than it should have been. But that's scary. Precisely why there's so many references to, Germany and the Holocaust, because you get people ginned up along those lines. People, by the way, who don't know anything about history.
Or oppression.
Oppression takes different forms, but putting a piece of cloth on your face is not oppression.
That's what I mean.
Yeah. They're trying to make it seem like they are being oppressed by the mandates and the having to wear a mask or anything like that. But it just goes to show that there are people, no matter what, if there is somebody telling them that they need to do something, they're going to rebel against it. Like if the CDC were to come out and be like, hey, we would like you to wipe your butt, there'd be a bunch of anti-wipers. Like, that's just how it goes.
Or I'm going to wipe sideways instead of, By the way, speaking of Meatloaf, Weber Grills, of all people, had to apologize for something that happened completely by accident.
I saw this.
Weber Grills is active. They've got restaurants in some cities. There's a Weber Grill restaurant in downtown Chicago. They got in some other cities. They're pretty active as any other brand would be on social media. And they send out recipes every day. And it was just the
happened to be Meatloaf Day.
Unlucky happenstance that they sent out a meatloaf recipe on the same day that Meatloaf died. And they were like, we send these out on Fridays. We send these out weekly. And people who were just kind of passing through saw that as just awful, awful insensitivity. And they're like, look, we're really sorry. These go out automatically. We didn't know that Meatloaf had died. They wanted to express their deepest apologies and sent their condolences to Meatloaf's family. But there had to be a lot of people, too, who get the Weber Grill email and also didn't know that Meatloaf had died.
Yeah, they're just like, ooh, I know what's for dinner tonight.
Meatloaf! So obviously people were dragging them for that. But the recipe of the week from Weber Grills on Friday, or whenever Meatloaf died, was meatloaf. I guess my question is, has anybody made that particular meatloaf recipe, and is it good?
I'm sure they have, and I'm sure it is. Weber Grill's not sending out some half-assed meatloaf recipe. They're sending out something that's really going to take your tastes on a ride.
By the way, Meatloaf was not sitting around with his thumb up his ass, by the way. He was in the middle of negotiations for a dating show called I'd Do Anything for Love. But these negotiations were canceled after he was diagnosed with the serious case of COVID that ended up taking his life. But boy, he really rode that I'll do anything for love rocket as far as it would possibly take him.
Why wouldn't you?
Yeah,
Of
seriously.
course.
I mean, it's a huge song. And,
Yeah, respect.
And there's so many different ways you can interpret it and, like, take advantage of it.
Yeah. He won a Grammy in 1994 for Best Solo Rock Vocal Performance. That I'd Do Anything for Love. That was off Bad Out of Hell 2. Everybody laughed at him. They're like,
Back
you're going
to
to make...
Hell, yeah.
Bad Out of Hell 2. And he has a giant, massive 13-minute hit. It was number one in 28 countries.
You couldn't get away from that song.
Nope.
And that was one of those songs where I knew that song and everybody's mom knew that. That's like, it was everywhere.
Yeah. But Weber Grill Company is apologizing for that email.
And the music video was on, not MTV a lot, but it was on VH1.
VH1.
All the time.
Video Hits 1.
Yeah.
I got to take a break. If you want to get a text for anything, 35192 to get us there. AlanCoxShow.com for all the other stuff. And you can listen anywhere you are on the iHeartRadio app.
The Alan Cox Show.